Hi everyone, happy Friday. For today's week 4 discussion, I'm going to talk about what I found most appealing or interesting in the readings or the videos. So I'm going to discuss the TED Talk. It's called When I Becomes We by Mina Sikara. This examined how our group identity dictates our actions by creating in-group favoritism while generating out-group bias. Her explanation of how people subconsciously favor their own group and derive joy from competitive failures really captivated me. So this phenomenon affects workplace relationships and social divisions between groups, as well as instigating conflicts on a global scale. Her presentation highlighted the need to create inclusion in spaces that promote cross-group collaborations. This viewpoint holds a specific importance for companies aiming to dismantle department barriers and build unity to boost team efficiency and productivity levels. For example, if you're working at a company for, let's say, 20 years, and you meet this other person and he's also an employee at the company and he's probably been there at least 20 to 25, maybe more than you, but you've never actually met formally. You don't know what either one does. It can cause a barrier and a shift in that company, because cross collaboration is very important, especially if you're a big company. They can hold some types of parties or meetings or any type of convention so people can meet each other even though they're not from the same department. So I think it's very important to have this type of collaboration so we can avoid biases and global scale conflicts, anything like that. So for the second question is, what achievements have you experienced working in group settings? So the most effective team experience occurred during a project that required us to generate creative solutions for organizational issues. Our group faced organizational challenges at first, but achieved group progress when we adopted the structural brainstorming process that required individuals to develop ideas independently before sharing them. So that way we decided to brainstorm independently first, and then brought all of our brainstorming together to determine whose ideas are most appealing or would benefit us the most. And it was actually a very fun exercise. No one had any issues. We all voted. We did pros and cons lists, so we got the job done and there was no issues whatsoever. Nobody disliked anybody's ideas because it was a free space. We got to think for ourselves, discuss amongst ourselves. So for question 3 is, what makes people resist acknowledging their lack of full effort in group work situations? So social social and fear of judgment makes people hesitant to reveal their lack of full effort in group environments, such as, let's say if someone has a more outgoing personality and they're the ones taking on the group, leading the group, and someone who has a less strong personality would possibly just not even discuss anything or not even share their ideas, he or she, and their ideas, which may be great ideas, won't be discussed and would just get brushed over just because one person is taking initiative, but they're too scared to take that initiative themselves just because they feel, I don't know, maybe like I said, maybe their self-efficiency isn't as high as someone else, and in that way they're gonna not produce as high as that outgoing person per se. So it's very important for people to share their ideas no matter what the case may be. Even if someone had that same idea and said it before you, you always add on, you always disagree to agree, or we have to build up as a group. We always have to build up, we have to work together. So that's very important. So for question 4, considering SAN's 1999 research results on social loathing raises the question whether team-based work execution is beneficial or detrimental. So a teamwork effectiveness relies on group organizational structure. According to SAN 1999, teams become ineffective when individual accountability remains absent, which leads to social loathing. Teams demonstrate high productivity when members possess defined roles and accountability for their contribution. For example, the TED Talk, Sikara's study shows that group identity serves as a motivational force when team members feel connected to their group. The effectiveness of teamwork relies heavily on leadership quality and accountability systems with them and with team dynamics. So without those, like I said, the execution for your team might not be beneficial at all. It might fall apart. So we always have to incorporate this idea of working together, motivating each other, staying connected, and that also does pertain to the leader of the group. So the leader has to make sure all these dynamics, like team dynamics, are put in place to ensure the highest performance. Okay, for the last question is, what strategies can you employ to achieve success when faced with teams that include one underperforming member? A successful group outcome with a weak member depends on utilizing their strengths and providing necessary support. Emotional intelligence does play a role here, as described in the TED Talk. It involves acknowledging the member's difficulties and offering encouragement instead of excluding them. Also, in Manier 1990 research, it suggested that the process gains occurs when a team strategically assigns tasks to offset that difficulty that is faced by that struggling member. So if someone's struggling with one task, maybe you can give it to someone else who's maybe comfortable with that task, and maybe that person has a task that the other team member is comfortable with. So you always have to work to see, okay, if this task doesn't work for this person, maybe I'll give it to the other person, and since that one is way easier for him, I'll give it to that team member. So we can all be included. We can't just give up on that team member just because they're struggling. That's not the definition of a team. When team members takes on roles that strengthens their role in that team, the entire group benefits, obviously, because with one weak member, it might bring down the group. I mean, unless everyone else is very strong, but it's at the end of the day, we can't exclude that member. So we always have to find a way to override that weakness and to help them achieve their goal, so everyone else can achieve the end goal. So it's very very important. And lastly, successful team integrations require incorporating their weaknesses into the team workflow rather than emphasizing them. So that means we don't want to stay stuck on that person's weakness. We don't want to keep bringing it up. Like, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? Look at this person and look at that person. Like, we can't do that. We have to work to improve that weakness. We can't just emphasize on it, and we can't just bring it over and over again, because that will lower that person's self-esteem. You have to build self-esteem, you have to encourage them, you have to tell them that it's fine, and you have to work together, because unless you don't do that, your team's gonna fall apart. Like, there's no way you can have a weak member and then the rest of the team just does whatever they want to accomplish that goal and leaves the other member behind. Like, there's no I in team, guys. So we always have to keep pushing and work together. So yeah, pretty much that's all of this week 4's discussion, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I was ranting a little at the end, and I apologize for that, but enjoy your weekend, guys, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.